Hello, welcome to Dan's Model Works, and today we're going to look at Round 2's reissue of MPC's Bad Company van. This is a 1982 Dodge van, and as you can see here, it says it's a special reissue with restored parts. Now exactly what parts were damaged or restored, I don't know. It does say here molded in black, but as we'll see when we get inside the kit, that's not the case. I'm thinking that was probably left on there from the original artwork and they didn't change it. So we'll just take a look around the box here. On the side of the box, let's see if we can get rid of this reflection. You can see it's got this great big huge spoiler and some interesting decals, custom wheels, detailed chassis, custom air dam, and then as you see here it says special reissue with restored parts. If we flip around the other side, there's a good shot of the model built up, actual size, and as we see here, it says for the modeler of moderate experience, bright plated parts, molded in white. And then if we look at the back, as we find on a lot of these round 2 kits, they've got kind of a sprue map here showing you what parts you get, which is kind of handy. So we'll open up this box and I'll show you the parts. Now, the reason I happened to pick this kit up is the overwrap was damaged. So I basically got it for under $20. The Dodge van isn't necessarily one of my favorites, but I have a number of Ford vans and I have a GM van. So I thought maybe I should pick up a Dodge van just for comparison on the display shelf. So let's look inside. Got the box off. And everything is separately bagged. The basic body and the underframe is all in one bag. We have the instructions. In here we have a fairly large decal sheet. We'll look at that in a minute. And then we have the transparencies. And they're bagged separately, which is nice. We have the chrome parts. And then we have 2 more sprues containing the white molded parts. Then we have some tires. Take a look at those as well. And some metal axles. And then we've got joining their club and a catalog showing some of the upcoming products. We'll start off by looking at the instructions. They're pretty basic instructions. They start off with putting the engine together. And then as well, they've got a call out of various paints you can use. And then we have putting the wheels together. As you can see, you have a choice of stock or custom wheels. Then we have the chassis, or more correctly, the underframe. I'm aware that Dodge vans were unitized body construction, so this is not properly a chassis. But even something like a van with a unitized body does have a section of heavy-duty framing underneath. It's just not strong enough to support the vehicle without the body. So moving down here, we have the building up of the tub, and it really is a fairly large, substantial tub. And then we have the custom interior. Looks like there's some sort of a sofa and a table and a divider there. And then this is interesting, and it was mentioned on the box art. You can cut a section of the roof out and put a large transparent panel in there. So that way you're not doing all that work on the inside for nothing. And then down here on the bottom we have the putting a big whale tail spoiler on if you choose, as well as the grille and the bumper. And we flip it over and we have the final large assembly. Seems such a shame to give you a full engine and not have the hood open. But then this is not the only van kit that suffers from that problem. Now, nowhere does it tell you exactly how to put the decals on, other than refer to the box top for decal placement. Speaking of those decals, we have this wizard guy and all of the stripes. as well as some sponsor stickers and things like that, as well as the logo Bad Company. I don't know if this ever had anything to do with the band, but they do seem to be well printed. Probably I would not be using this guy, but possibly these stripes would be nice. I'm not really big on super customized vehicles. I like my vehicles stock. Moving on to the parts, they do give you 4 vinyl tires, and they're fairly hard, but still vinyl, and they do have the Goodyear logo on them, so they're not no-name tires. Starting with the smaller sprues, we have the engine and transmission molded together, as well as the pulleys. These, I believe, are the bases for the seats, and these are some sort of for some headlights that you can put on the roof, although they're not shown on the box top. And this would be one of the cross members. Moving on, we have what they would refer to as the stock wheels. They're molded in white. Now, these would not be your bone stock. This would probably be an option from the factory. But I do remember wheels like this being on Dodge vans at the time. Here we have some of the interior parts. This is the divider behind the driver and passenger, a curtain, table, and some of the other interior fittings. And here we have the rear axle and springs. Now it is only half, or I shouldn't say it's half molded, because up here is the top half of it. We've got the intake manifold, some of the exhaust, steering wheel, and the exhaust as well, drive shaft. Like I said, it is a shame that you can't really see into the engine compartment except for underneath. The second bag of white parts contains the instrument panel, which looks pretty good, and the seats. Certainly a custom seat there. I mean, it almost looks like something you'd find in, I don't know, a 70s kitchen or something like that. Then we have the upholstered bench seats for the way back. And these parts are for the upper walls inside the van. Moving on, we have, this is for that giant spoiler. And then we have the wheel backs, and looks like part of the exhaust there. We have a couple of parts that came off the sprues. Make sure they go right into the box. I won't open the transparency bag just because I don't want these to get scratched. Here we have the taillights, windshield. This looks like it's for the door at the back. It's just one piece that goes across both doors. These textured ones there to go inside. And as I mentioned, you can cut out the roof and put this large panel in here so you can look inside at all your customization work. Next we have the chrome sprue, and we have the custom wheels here, the fan, side pipes, valve covers, the mirrors, and then of course we have the 1982 grille. Now this is basically the facelifted grille. Otherwise these vans didn't change much from the 1970s, when they had what I would best describe as being a very happy, smiley face front end to this more serious rectangular 80s look. And of course this would carry on only with larger single headlights until the early 90s, at which point they changed the front end again to have all rounded aerodynamic parts, which was, I think, probably a more successful facelift than the 1980s facelift. Finally, in the last bag, we have the underframe. Like I said, I won't call it a chassis. And it seems to be nicely detailed. There's some brake and fuel lines molded in. Fuel tank is molded in. Nice thing is, with you putting the suspension parts on top, it does give a much more depth and 3D effect. And then moving on, we have the tub, And it does have some underframe detail molded on as well, so that when you put it together, you end up with this. Flipping it over, we have the doghouse. Now, I suppose if you wanted, you could cut this out and have the doghouse be removable. There are some unfortunate pin marks or ejection pin marks here, though whether or not you're going to see them when you've got it all assembled, I don't know. It has all of this padded molding here on the sides. I would prefer to see separate moldings, especially for the front doors. But keeping in mind that this is a product of the early 80s, I don't think we can complain that much. I would rather have this kit be re-released than not be released because, oh, all the parts haven't been brought up to modern standards. So there's the tub. And then we have the body. And the body does look quite nice. There's a little bit of a line that you might need to sand down right here. Yeah, that needs to be sanded down. The drip rail's not too bad. There's a little bit of flash inside the door, inside the window here. Some flash back there. I don't really see anything that should be a deal breaker here. Any flash that there is on there, and the body does sit fairly level. No warpages there. I don't really see anything on this that would make you say, well, I'm just not going to build it. There's just too much work to be done. Like I said, a little bit of sanding just on the corners where the mold comes together. And of course, if we flip it over, there's some lines in here where you would need to cut it to put that glass roof in. There is a spot for a sunroof, although this particular kit doesn't come with a sunroof for that spot. So this is obviously a body that's used for some other incarnations of this kit. Alright, this is just a little addition. Now, while I was editing the review, I noticed that there weren't any really separate parts for the front suspension here. And I thought I'd bring that to your attention just in case you didn't notice it until later. I don't think it changes my overall review of the kit. It's simply a limitation. I've seen other kits like this where basically if you built it like that, there'd be no way the vehicle could ever actually steer, because you've probably clued in by now. There's no tie rods there. And if we actually look at the part, and this isn't ideal light conditions here, mainly because we're in my spray booth. My other light has started flickering, which is a little annoying. I'll have to fix that before I can shoot any more videos over there. It's not as bad as I first thought, because it looks like it has torsion bar front suspension. Now, I just went on the internet to see if I could get a good clear picture of a Dodge front axle for a van, which oddly enough is rather hard to find. I'm sure spending a little bit more than 2 or 3 minutes, which is what I just spent, would probably net you some pictures. This part isn't as bad as I first feared, but no, there should be a tie rod on there, if nothing else, for steering. Now, I don't think this is a big thing to add. You could probably scavenge one from something from your junk pile, or simply make it out of some styrene rod or some metal pieces. But I just thought I'd bring that to your attention so that you don't buy the kit, start putting it together, and say, whoa, this doesn't look quite right. As you can see, it looks a little bit naked. I guess MPC got a little lazy here. You probably would have only taken 1 or 2 more parts to make this look detailed. So anyway, just thought I'd slip this in. There you have it. MPC's reissue of the Bad Company 1982 Dodge van. I can't see anyone being real upset that it's not molded in black. I mean, shoot. At least being molded in white, you can easily paint it in any color. With it being molded in black, if you wanted to do it in anything other than black, you'd be in for a challenging paint. So, it does have a few flaws. It doesn't have separate sidewalls for the interior. But once again, this is basically as it was released in the 1980s. And, you know, I'm probably going to be building it bone stock, maybe as a tradesperson's van or something like that. You probably could, if you wanted, open the hood, but you'd have to build some inside fender wells as well. Certainly, I'm not disappointed in it. A lot of people get upset when things aren't brought up to today's standards, but as I said, I'd rather see something be reissued than not be on the market at all. So until next time, keep modeling. Thanks for watching Dan's Model Works, and see you next time.